So what are you here for?
Oh, the same. I mean, I'm a sort of advisor to the Flanders Game Hub and a bunch of the stuff that Rick's doing. So I do work with them throughout the whole year. Oh, do I keep hitting it?
Just a little bit close. It's fine, but just a bit.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I do work with them throughout the year. And of course, this UNWRAP is a major event of theirs, and so they use that as an excuse to bring me over. They'll throw me up on stage a couple of times, and then I'll do a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. So, for example, this morning the minister was there.
Yeah, I saw.
So the new minister of media. Yeah, well, she stayed like a couple hours, which is impressive.
Damn it, we should have gotten her on.
Yeah. No, but she did her as part of the welcome speech, but then we brought her across to the school where they did the ribbon cutting on the new virtual production studio. And then we went in a boardroom and we had a bit of a sort of behind the scenes discussion about Flanders, the game development ecosystem, what could and should be done to create more jobs, more studios, more games, what that could mean.
Taxes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that can be done, but anyway, so that was sort of more important than, me being on stage and stuff, was that behind the scenes work. But
small introduction, because obviously we know you from last year, but there's obviously new listeners who are tuning in. They're like, hey, they obviously seen each other. Like,
so they didn't listen to last year's. So
go back and listen. Go back and listen.
So let's introduce.
It was the best. That was the best clip. The best.
It was very fun. It was very funny.
So let's introduce yourself. Probably.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Which camera am I even? Is it this one here?
It's that one.
Mostly,
That
we have
one.
the big one there. So the small one. So
this one you can ignore.
Yeah. That's a funky one. Yeah. Well, so my name is Jason DELLA ROCCA. I've been in the game industry for almost 30 years, and almost my entire career, it's really been about supporting game developers. So working with game developers and helping game developers to succeed. In the earlier years was more on the technology side. Back in the day, I was part of the initial 3D graphics chips.
And Voodoo people.
Yeah, I worked at Matrox. Matrox.
Well, was it like the original Xbox something?
Yeah, and then
there was a story there.
Yeah, and there was a story about I was once fired under suspicion of corporate espionage related to the original Xbox. But
Side note.
So in the early days, much more on the technology side, and then shifting more towards like professionalization of the industry and helping developers not just be creative and skilled in their craft, but also look at the business and marketing side so they can actually build studios and have games that find an audience and succeed in the marketplace. And so then getting involved on the funding side and incubation side. And then that's how I got involved in Flanders, doing some work here in Kortrijk, helping with the Flanders Game Hub, and doing stuff with Hangar K and guiding some of the folks here on how to like better grow and support the industry in Flanders.
Because Canada, the business is huge. Is like Montreal now the biggest, or is it still
Montreal? Yeah. I mean,
over Vancouver.
It was Vancouver over a decade ago, and then it shifted during the global financial crisis in like 2008 2009, and the Vancouver like headcount dropped in half, but the Montreal headcount stayed the same, and so it kind of grew. And the reason why it stayed level was because of the different tax incentives and support structures that existed in Montreal, but not in Vancouver. So in Canada today, the number one hub is Montreal.
Yeah.
Second, about half the size is Vancouver.
In the world, maybe? Or is Tokyo, maybe?
No. We're not first in the world. I mean, Japan, of course, Tokyo and Kyoto, etc. And then you have the US. I mean, California. Just California.
California. But that's like a state, and you're comparing it to
but it's
a city,
the village.
And then LA is like so massive, and you have stuff there. It doesn't count. It's not the same as Montreal. Let's be real.
It's probably one of the most dense.
Correct. Yeah. So per capita, Montreal is one of the most dense. I mean, just in Montreal, you have close to 400 studios. and about 15,000 game developers.
You have the highest chance to hit a video game developer if you throw a glass out of the window.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you'd walk down one of the main boulevards and you'd see the logos of all the studios up on the.
Can you name a few just for reference?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ubisoft has a big studio in Montreal.
For how long?
Oh, for like 25 years.
No, but
for how much longer?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, well, no comment. I do work with Ubisoft.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. More on their entrepreneurial programs and stuff. But so Ubisoft, like that's where the original Prince of Persia recreation came from, Sands of Time, like back in like 2001 or so.
And then the first Assassin's
Creed, the first Splinter Cell, Far Cry. The original Splinter Cell was.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of people are. It's their dream to have another good Splinter Cell game, but
I mean, the original was amazing. So the Ubisoft team there has done some great stuff. And then Electronic Arts has a studio there. IDOS has a studio. Square Enix I think they still have a studio. I mean, Behavior is there. So the team that did Dead by Daylight.
Oh,
they're one of the world's largest independent studios.
Crazy what they're still doing,
and they keep on growing.
Yeah. They're over 1,000 staff in Montreal, and then some really really amazing indies like Thunder Lotus. They're the ones that did the Spirit Fair.
Oh yeah.
Then you have Kit Fox, are the ones that did the re-release of Dwarf Fortress and Boyfriend Dungeon. You have Red Barrels with Outlast Trials that sold like 1 million copies this summer. I mean, there's like and 300 more. 300 more. So those are just a few of the amazing studios that are there. But yeah, so Canada in general, I mean Montreal specifically, has done particularly well in terms of game development. And then what you see is, games is good business, and it's good for the economy. Like if you have game studios in your neck of the woods, these are good paying jobs. It's export revenue, so you're bringing new dollars into the country. It's high tech. Yeah, it's like new economy kind of roles. In design and programming and AI and all these kinds of things.
Just look at the difference in a year for since you last came here. Like for Belgium, it's been very big. A year ago, Baldur's Gate 3 was just out, and we're like, it's doing well. But then it won every single award ever.
Game changer.
And it proves, we can make it here in Belgium. It is possible. Yeah. While before last year, winning a game of the year, it was impossible in our own minds.
No, I mean, obviously, big kudos to the Larian team and all the amazing work they did here. Fun side note, one of my first credits in the game industry was for the original Baldur's Gate that was made in Canada. BioWare out in Edmonton in 97 or 98.
Great game.
If you have a copy of that with it has a 120 or 150 page instruction manual that came in the box.
And you were credited in the manual.
The manual. Yeah.
I can ask. So the guys who have my collection, Embracer Group.
Yeah, he has a copy.
You can still,
they probably have.
And you can still buy it today, physical, because there's a definitive edition on Switch and PS4.
Well, listen,
but you don't have the manual, but you'll be in the in-game credits.
I haven't checked. I mean, I was in the original.
Yeah,
and PC version, but I don't know all the remasters, and I don't know if all those old credits kind of survived.
They should.
I think usually they do, because they just take the PC version and port it. So
I'd have to check. But anyways,
that's been a while.
Yeah. Well, that's 90, 98. I think
almost 30 years in the biz. Then
you were 7. Yeah, it's crazy.
Still 7.
I mean. When you kind of go back to some of those early days, I mean, I mentioned I was at Matrox, we were doing some of the initial 3D graphics acceleration. We were doing work before the APIs exist. So like, DirectX, Direct 3D, all the tool, and like Unity, Unreal, none of that existed. And so we had done work on the original Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, like the very first MS-DOS. So it's PC
Core Design
by Core Design, published by IDOS. It was a DOS.
It was DOS. Yeah, it was. Windows wasn't.
This is before Windows.
Yeah, the first games were purely MS-DOS.
You don't remember that?
Even when Windows was out, you couldn't boot games from Windows. You had to go to MS-DOS to boot your games.
Like command prompt. You put the floppy in like command run.
Or you needed a boot disk in some cases.
You had to like configure with your auto exec bat file and like configure the different memsys and all this.
Or you had an EGA game, but your computer booted up in VGA mode. I bet need a boot disk to get that going. I remember those days.
That's some old school shit, man. Like
I started with the second one.
Yeah, well, listen, you're showing your age.
I'm showing my age, but I've been gaming since I was 2. I started on the Commodore 64.
Yeah, he was 2 years old doing the command prompt.
Making my boot disks. I remember it.
In his diaper.
Yeah.
In his diaper with the floppy disk.
Easy code. I would say like, Dad, can you do this? Because it's like super easy, bro.
So anyway, so the very first Tomb Raider was an MS-DOS game. That you launched from the command prompt.
We had it.
And so we went in and we worked with Core Design and we coded the game to talk to the 3D chip with assembly code, which is like, I don't know if there's anyone technical on the chip, like really like that's fucking binary hardcore, like your old school shit.
That's like SVGA probably back then.
I don't even remember.
We recently talked about
the talking.
Yeah.
But I think Lacey mentioned that with Roller Coaster Tycoon that was built in
100% assembly.
Yeah, it's just, because there were no APIs, there were no engines, there was none of that stuff. So we were in there like hard coding it assembly so the game would talk to and she was still super pixelated triangle and but the
super
frame,
hot though.
Yeah. It's so funny when you go back and look at those original. But so you're involved in some of those early.
I remember the first version of DirectX when I had to install that.
Which one?
The first version of DirectX. I remember when I installed that, and then
DirectX.
DirectX.
Oh, okay.
DirectX.
Yeah, DirectX. DirectX. Yeah.
Now it's fairly transparent, but it's still all sitting there in your computer. Like DirectX was the set of APIs that controlled all like they had direct sound for all the sound card, direct controller for your joysticks and whatever, direct 3D for your graphics card. So it was like a suite of APIs that you needed to program for.
Yeah, basically to lift the weight from the developer's shoulders.
Yeah.
So the final translation.
Yeah, because before the developers had to program everything, like how to send music to the music card, how to like map the control, like all that stuff was all hand coded, and the rendering and rasterizing was all 100% hand coded.
Yeah.
There were no Unity didn't exist, Unreal, like none of that existed. So we think I
think the first was the Hammer. Oh no, was it Hammer? The one from Nukem 3D, their game engine. I think that was one of the first engines that people could build other things in, and the one from Doom maybe. Yeah,
Doom was really the first one, and then Quake came, and then Unreal was sort of in the around 2000.
But most of it was proprietary.
Yeah, and you had renderware, which actually GTA 3 was built on.
Yeah, and that was very huge on PS2, especially because all the Burnouts were made in renderware.
Yeah, but then EA
they developed it.
EA bought the company, and then all the other clients that were using like Rockstar were like, fuck that, we don't want to build our next games if EA has access to the engine and technology. So that
because they dominated during that generation.
Yeah, renderware.
Criterion.
I guess it was Criterion. Yeah,
they made renderware in most games of PS2. If you boot it up, you see renderware as a logo.
Yeah, some of those old games. But the most famous one being GTA 3. But it's kind of crazy because when DirectX was just being developed, we were giving input and obviously collaborating with Microsoft to make sure all the chips and stuff, talk to each other. Microsoft used to host an event called Meltdown. It was called Microsoft Meltdown in the late 90s, where all the game developers and all the hardware and chip manufacturers would go to Seattle. What was Creative Labs with their sound cards and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Turtle Beach and the Voodoo Sound Blaster and all. All the controller makers and all this kind of Matrox, ATI, Voodoo, Rendition. There's way more 3D chips back in the day, and so we would all go and they would get up on stage and sort of present. Here's what's going to be in the next API and what we're going to do and the features we're going to enable, and you take all your notes and stuff. And that was half the event, and the other half of the event, every vendor had a hotel room and they stripped out the bed and the furniture, whatever, and they just put desks. and the game developers would go from hotel room to hotel room with not speed. It was like speed melting, speed. So
speed drinking.
No. During the day, not at night.
Okay.
And so they would have their game on a disc, and they would load it on your machine with whatever prototype graphics chip, sound card, 3D, whatever. And they called it meltdown because most of the time your computer would melt down.
Good old days, man.
Because it was like a prototype chip. It was a prototype code. The game was very buggy. And so you put it and like stuff would just smoke and melt down. So that's why they called it Microsoft Meltdown. So you had to bring like 20 computers in case, like one got melted down. But it was so fun because, the developers would go from room to room, and it'd be like, I think one year you had Origin Systems. They're the ones that did Ultima.
Yeah.
And they were doing a test build of Ultima Online. The original, original.
That's old school, yeah.
Super old school. This is also late 90s. And they're in the room and they're like, okay, hey, it's the guys from Origin. They come in. All right, hey, this is our next thing. Ultima Online. We're like, oh my God, what? Like, what? This is crazy. And they would come and they would like boot it up with their prototype stuff. And they would be like debugging shit like on the fly. Yeah, like something didn't work. Okay, boom, let's open the compile. And they like the actual like lead programmer from Ultima Online is like sitting there like, fixing it, and then rerunning it. And
one thing is that still kind of happens, but not in that extent.
Yeah.
Mostly with indie studios now, like where
probably.
they get together and do these game
like
jams.
Yeah.
Or like the documentary on Fez, where it's like on his first like big exhibition, that he's like, he pulls open the cabinet and is like fixing stuff because they couldn't get past level 1 or whatever.
Yeah, the build wasn't working on the show floor at PAX.
Yeah, everybody's been there.
Yeah.
The showcasing a game, the first time you give it to the public. God damn it. And rewriting the code as you see them play. Yeah, it's incredible.
Man, so those are,
but
old school. Back in the
it's
day.
cool that it still kind of exists, right? The mentality, but it's not the same.
Like thinking back of that era, would you have expected it to be that big as it is today? Or did you think, because games were kind of, let's say, especially PC games was very niche in that era. It was looked down upon. Okay, there were some successes like Tomb Raider and Mortal Kombat that were that were beyond games, let's say. They had movies and other stuff.
FMV.
FMV, yeah. But now, like it's the biggest industry.
Yeah, I mean, I was always very optimistic. I mean, I was like you. I was 2 years old in my diapers playing Pong and whatever. So I always knew games was a big deal. And what it is now, and it was on the way to becoming the art form of the 21st century, like the most meaningful form of art and entertainment in the world. And we were on the cusp of that. And then now I think it's pretty much true, both in terms of cultural reach and economic impact. But from a technological point of view, I remember in that sort of time frame where we're like melting down computers and coding in assembly and like really hard development stuff. I had this sense that like someday in the future, the same way you say like new document and you just like write a novel, you'll be like new game and like whoop, you'll just sort of make a game as easily.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we're starting to see that. I mean, we were starting to see that with the engines, with things like DirectX and APIs. Like it kept getting easier and easier.
You saw the incremental
Unity
steps.
and Unreal made it so easy.
Unity, Unreal, and now generative AI, all these kinds of things. Like it will get to the point. It's like, oh, I have an idea for a new game. New game.
Yeah,
a game that and then it's there.
Yeah, look at the 90s. What it took to make a movie.
Yeah.
Now, like everybody can make a movie.
Yeah, but then that brings up questions of discoverability, and even if you can make a movie, who's going to watch? Or if I can make a game, who's going to play it? I mean, I think to a certain extent, if it becomes that easy, then it's almost like instead of writing a love letter, I can write a love game. Yeah, it's like, I love you, bro. I wanted to express myself in this little interactive experience. Play this game instead of reading
I made you a mixtape. I made you the mix of these games.
Yeah, something like this, right? Like you'll express yourself by saying play this experience, and like now you'll understand my feelings, and I think my point is, if it becomes that easy, I think you will be able to create games for very personal expression. So then the reality is it's not I'm making it to sell 1 million copies, even though that range of possibility is there.
Yeah. Because it's today there's an article in the newspaper that they interviewed me, and it was about the critical failures that we've had in gaming this year. And I said, like, at this point, it's gotten more important to the marketing is more important than making a good game.
Yeah.
And it's a sad reality at this point, because there was probably the best games are probably being made every day. And they're being in Steam. Like, some guy just made his new game, put it on Steam, didn't market it, and it just gets
page 16,000.
Yeah. And
well, I mean, this is true. However, game design is marketing. Like, people don't realize that marketing is more than just buying ads and doing promo, right? Product design, game design is part of marketing. And so the decisions you make around the genre and the kind of game and the visual style and who's it for, all that, who the player is, all that kind of stuff, you're doing marketing. And so I kind of get upset at game developers where they're like, I'm too cool for marketing. I'm just a designer. Don't bother me with that business. It's like, no. If you're doing design, you are doing marketing. Yeah. Discussions around business model and pricing and which platforms you're going to be, like, all of that is marketing, different versions of marketing. So what I would say also is for game developers, the most important marketing decision you make is your game design. It's your genre.
Yeah, if you can't sell the game, you can.
Forget it.
Yeah,
Forget
it stops, kind of.
Yeah.
Concord.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's I pick on young developers who.
It's fun, right?
it's I'm a vampire. It's like, really, I'm 150 years old. I suck the souls of the.
You live on the tears of young developers.
Yes, absolutely. But like, if they're making a platformer, like a puzzle platformer, it's like, step away from the keyboard. Like, nobody wants to buy a puzzle platformer.
Yeah. Hey,
it is.
They like that, but I mean,
it's not a viable genre.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that you have to get them
but
all.
It has to be perfect.
Well, you have to be the number one.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
I think
there's room
Prince
for
of
one.
Persia,
but it failed.
Year.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful fucking game. A brilliant Metroidvania.
They fired the team.
Didn't sell well.
They fired the team.
Was it 3 mil? No, it was under 3 mil.
I think.
I
think it sold like two.
That's not
something.
That's not bad.
It probably cost way more to be that great. You can see it.
And that's
like,
unusually high,
big.
and it's leveraging the Prince of Persia brand.
Yeah,
because the average sale for a platform is like 7 copies. Like, unless you're Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, or
like,
Astrobot.
You have to be like the number one.
Yeah.
And then everything else.
You have to get everybody in that genre.
Yeah.
Don't you start out when you're starting with making a game? Don't you kind of start out with the idea of trying to be the number one? Like, there's always the exception, so you're aiming to be that exception.
No, I think it's different. Like, I get what you're saying. It's like, but if you want to say, I want to make the best story in a game, how can you present it with the budget that you have? Yeah. You won't be able to present it on the level of a Naughty Dog. So you'll never be the first in presentation.
You don't have the tech, you don't have the talent, you don't have the 100 million budget, you don't have the, like, you just...
100 million.
Tales of Ganzera did a wonderful story in a platformer, which was kind of great. Did that sell?
Nope.
Shit.
They also
I should stop giving examples.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
But the budgets are getting higher, so the sales need to get higher. But if you go into a niche, you may have to make sure that you get everybody in that niche. And of course, you have some niche breakers this year. You've had Vampire Survivors and Balatro, which are very niche games, but they managed to do something that's so revolutionary. Their game design is their real marketing because they sold purely on word of mouth.
Yep.
Everybody's like, whoa, you've never played anything like this before. And they're fairly cheap, so everybody can have a try. Or Dave the Diver or whatever. Yeah.
Can you really advise a developer to not make a certain genre if it takes away the chance that you'll get a Vampire Survivor or a Balatro?
Well, I mean, so you cannot anticipate or predict Vampire Survivor because there's no historical data.
Of course. Yeah.
And so you never know where that kind of innovation is going to come from. But I can warn you to not do things that are clearly not selling well. So, for example, if you were to say, okay, what do we do? Let's work on any... I want to make a platformer. I can show you data from Steam and say, okay, well, in the past 10 years, there's been one platformer per year that makes more than X dollars.
Yeah.
So are you gonna bet the farm that you're gonna be that one this year?
So either make it with a budget way lower than that, or just don't make it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so often it's don't make it, or if we have to, like if I have to get it out of my heart, I have to paint the pixels, whatever. Then it's like, okay, well, let's do it in 6 months with 3 people, kind of get out of the door, and cut the butt. Like,
it's also a learning experience.
It's your first fine. It's a learning experience.
We've done that in the past where we had we have budget for 4 months. Different project got canceled. We have 4 months. What can we make in 4 months?
Yeah, exactly.
And we put 2 games out in 4 months.
Yeah.
Didn't sell amazing, but we did make them in that short time.
So I with a pretty high degree of accuracy, if you're like, I want to make a point and click adventure, I'd be like, you're an idiot. Don't make a point and click adventure. Whereas if you said, well, I have some ideas of like city builder, but with some tactical, I don't know what, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, you're touching on genres that, when those do well, there's a lot of them that do well. Like in any given year, there's a dozen city builders that sell, more than X, copies or whatever. So it's kind of like a healthy genre.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do, a twist on this, okay, I'm listening. This is interesting.
Like, top 10-ish.
Yeah.
Like it gets really interesting.
It's kind of sad because we've been talking about this all day, of course, is the budgets are getting bigger. The risks are getting lower because make a first person shooter, you got your high chances to get your money back. For investors, for AAA studios.
For AAA.
For AAA, AAA.
Big difference.
That's what they will invest on. But that also makes then inadvertently the players more selective because they are getting more used to that genre and they're not looking for other things because they don't know the other things as well.
Well, this is an issue, but in part, research has shown that players usually buy on specific genres.
Yeah.
Like if I'm an FPS player, I go to Steam and I look at what FPS, and if it looks like an FPS, I click, and if it doesn't, then I'm not interested. Or you have 2 or 3 genres that you play and the rest you don't touch.
But let's take FPS as an example, right? It's super hard to make one.
A good one.
Because that's the problem. Because Shroud, the streamer, he was, investor in one of them. Was it Spectre and Divided or
Spectre
something? Divide. Bombed.
Surprising given his following.
Exactly, because everybody was like, this is not bad. Didn't do well.
Yeah, but they have to knock against Valorant, Fortnite, Warzone, Call of Duty.
Especially in the multiplayer genre.
What was the other one?
Doomed to fail.
There was another FPS, pretty big one.
X-Defiant.
Oh yeah, X-Defiant. Yeah, but that's
that did well though, didn't it? It didn't do well?
No, they're already...
It did okay.
Yeah. But
that's most of it.
But that's the problem with those games is they're super fun for 2 weeks and then you get bored. That's the problem with them.
There's
not
a lot
they
of
released at
the finals.
Oh yeah, finals. Super good example.
Oh yeah, they went.
Yeah, and then back to
but that's a design. That's a design issue. That's player progression. It's designing for retention. Those are known issues that you see primarily on mobile games. Like why do I come back to my mobile game like every day? Appointment mechanic, those are known techniques to kind of keep
that's
people.
The problem with, let's say, Counter-Strike, right? One of the biggest FPS games ever.
Yeah, still.
And nobody knows why it's so addictive. One, it's full of cheaters. Developers don't care. They didn't even tweet when it was 25 years now. Not even a single tweet. They don't care. Still one of the most played games every single day. Yeah. Nobody can explain it. It's full of bugs. The new release was absolute garbage.
Well, Sims, people still play The Sims 4 after 10 years.
Yeah, but that still works. Counter-Strike doesn't. That's the problem. So it's still over 1 mil a day active players or concurrent players.
League of Legends has been more than 10 years.
Yeah, but that's
they're
super
updating it. They're updating
and
it.
super actively. And the production is crazy. The Worlds now just hit a new peak, 69 million concurrent viewers or something.
That's crazy.
Or total, I don't know.
That's crazy.
They beat their own record. It's super crazy. So, but yeah, old games apparently still work.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It's like everybody wants to be the latest and greatest. It's like, it's okay to do like a very minimalistic thing, but they always slap on 10,000 things to be the different one.
Yeah.
But Helldivers 2 is an example. It went fantastic for 3 months.
Yeah, but they got their money in the beginning, so
yeah. So there were like 500,000.
It's okay.
Minimum players
eight
for 3 months, and then it dropped
8
to
million. They sold 8 million in that first month.
I mean, 500,000 concurrent at that. I mean,
that's insane numbers.
On Steam.
On Steam was 400,000. Now on Steam it's 40,000.
That's still great.
It's still great, especially compared to others. But
for a game that's half a year old,
the drop at some point. Yeah.
I mean, online is tough. I mean, I'm a more traditional gamer. I still like games that I can play and finish. I mean,
I changed. I went from online only to only single player.
I mean, it's also an age thing and time thing, whatever. But like, I recently played Dungeons of Hinterland.
Oh yeah, he just finished
Hinterberg.
Oh, Hinterberg. Sorry, Hinterland.
Lovely game.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So charming.
And the
so
ingenuity in each dungeon, where you're like, well, this is completely different than the last thing. What's this?
Yeah.
And then a new dungeon. Wow, I didn't think I could do this with my power. I loved it. I haven't finished it because I want to wait till there's a PlayStation release to have the trophies.
Oh, okay.
But
they just did an update for like a plus mode and a handful of new trophies. And so I cleared all that. But beautiful game. The visual style is amazing.
Yeah.
Small team, relatively small budget. I think it's sold decently well, but it's like.
But it's Game Pass, right?
It was on Game Pass. So
I bought it. I didn't Game Pass it.
The only issue that I had with it was it looked so much better in motion than it looked in screenshots.
Yeah, but screenshots, I felt they look a bit like Tintin style, like comic. This kind of almost this like Belgian comic look.
Or the screenshots that they use in some areas, it was like, this isn't the best, and then you see a trailer, and you're like, wow, this actually looks really, really good, and it's like the fluidity and everything.
And what I liked, to my point about playtime, is the game tells you there's 25 dungeons, and when you clear them, the magic's gone.
Yeah.
And so you know that like, okay, I'll just clear it and I'll be at peace.
Yeah.
And have that satisfying moment and not spend hundreds of hours and 10 years, coming back playing the same map. So like it was beautiful. I think it will get, when Dungeons of Hinterberg releases on more systems, I think it will every time have this, because its word of mouth is spreading. So when they get that PlayStation release, they'll have another boost. I think it was the same with the cat game, Stray. Once they got on different platforms,
they won on PlayStation Extra.
Yeah,
but they weren't on Xbox on release. They weren't on Switch on release.
Oh yeah. So when they released,
the other one I absolutely love was Dredge.
Oh yeah,
Dredge,
yeah,
amazing. But I mean, you could really grind to get all the fish, but like it was over. Like
it was over.
Finished.
And it felt like after you finished it, you went like, I think they could have done way more with this. Like the concept wasn't completely fished out, let's say. There was still plenty of fish in the ocean of the concept, but they didn't like milk it completely. They didn't overfish, and they managed to finish it when it should have.
You're milking this fish dry, man.
Yeah, I know. But then they had DLC, and they could still go with different directions with that one. But I think it's also a good thing is not overstay your welcome.
But exactly, that's a good point. And they sold millions of copies.
Yeah, but I think it's also the cozy game. Like technically speaking, they're a cozy game. It's the hot ticket for a lot of developers right now. Dave the Diver, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing. They're finding in this new demographic that in the past was only like Sims was one of the few games that already did it before it had the title of cozy game, and then Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing were then the other big ones. And now people figured out, hey, wait a minute, it doesn't have to be winning bosses, it doesn't have to be Dark Souls, it doesn't have to be all this shit. It just means like people need to game for their enjoyment.
Well, another one, Remnant 2.
Remnant 2. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Last
know a
year.
lot of people who were hard on it. Yeah.
They were
Oh
very
my god! But this is now. I mean, made me think when you said Elden Ring. It's one of these sort of brutal,
Yeah, it's very,
very
very
hard. But I 100%ed it, and I prepaid the DLC. So like I've done the 2 of the 3. The third one just came out last month, and I've been traveling, so I haven't had time to play the Dark Horizons. But that also was a self-contained game. I mean, it has co-op, so like, let's go play. We can but I mean, you do clear all the worlds, get all the things, save the universe. Game is done.
Yeah.
And
What's your main platform?
Xbox.
Mm.
Yeah, I actually
Even after the espionage.
It's
or
a big
maybe
thing.
or maybe because of the espionage.
I went to a few shops in Toronto, and it was crazy how much bigger Xbox is over there.
Oh, then here.
Yeah, it's really
Because
small
here a lot of shops just stopped selling Xbox
wow.
because nobody buys it here.
Oh, interesting.
Well, nobody,
Yeah.
Yeah, lower.
very, very much. Especially physical games, because they're all doing Game Pass.
Oh,
Why would they buy physical games?
True. Yeah.
So it was weird. I was like, "Where's the PlayStation 5 section?" It's like, "Yeah, there's 5 games there."
Oh, geez.
I was like, "But what? Where's the rest?" Super crazy.
Yeah.
Xbox, okay.
And it's console. I mean, I play a lot of stuff on PC in part from my work when I see early builds or prototypes, pitches and stuff. You got to be able to, load and run some of these early games.
Get a Steam Deck and then use Xbox Play. So you can stream your Xbox to your Steam Deck.
I should. It's been,
especially if you're traveling.
Yeah. Well, when I'm on the airplane, I like read a book. I try to unplug. I'm one of those.
You're not raw dogging
That
the flights.
stank like one of those.
Dude, I was in Malaysia last week. That was 30 hours of transit.
Oh my god!
Staring at the back of the seat for 30 hours.
I don't get it. Why would you do that? Raw dogging a flight, 30 hours of your life that you're doing nothing. I couldn't imagine.
I just played my PS Vita.
Yeah,
that was fucking cool.
Yeah. The last time I did that was on the which Game Boy was the one that the one that flipped open.
DS. Advance SP.
The DS.
Oh, sorry.
And it was a Zelda game where you had to like blow in the mic.
Yeah,
and you had to like do the seal. Was it
with
Phantom
the train?
Hourglass?
With the train on the front?
No, that's Spirit Tracks. Phantom Hourglass was the first one. It was with the boat.
Yeah, you were on the boat, and then at one point you had to make a wax seal, and you had to close.
Man, I was stuck on that one for a long time. What the fuck do I have to do? And you had to close the actual device.
To stamp the. Yeah, it was so clever.
At one moment you're like, oh fuck it, click.
Yeah, and then
the next time.
Yeah,
it's like Plicky's Fire.
Yeah.
So that was many years ago. But since I read books on the airplane, but
might be better choice.
Any recommendations
of books?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The one I'm reading right now is called the Homo Deus. Homo sapiens, Homo Deus. It's like the next evolution of mankind.
Okay.
Gonna be gods?
We're gonna be gods, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's
I already have the complex, so I might as well be the being.
I was just listening to another podcast in Belgium, and they were talking about this island where they're all really small people lived, a bit like hobbits.
Oh.
And it's like an actual thing, and it's super hard to comprehend. But no, hobbits are like from the movie, right?
That's where I'm from.
But no, I think it was like 1.10 m or something. It was crazy. It was on Nerdland, which is like one of the biggest podcasts in Belgium.
Yeah,
and it's super interesting, to see how much we still don't know about the old back days.
Harari?
Yeah,
or was that Anders? Okay.
No idea.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, on the business side, I really like Innovator's Dilemma is a good one, a very classic book, Understanding Innovation, or something like Blue Ocean Strategy is a really good one. Lean Startup is another.
Classic one.
Yeah, classic. 10 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Classic.
That's classic.
On the game industry side, earlier this year, there was a book called Up, Down, Up. And it was a business book released by Kim Nordstrom, which is like an exec out of Sweden who worked at King. He's actually the CEO of the PUBG company now in Amsterdam, so nearby.
They're in Amsterdam?
They're all over the place.
Yeah, the main hold on a second. Brandon Green. I think his studio is in Amsterdam.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that studio is actually called PUBG, but
Yeah,
I mean,
what's
they've
the
Did they
been
get
taken
bought?
over,
Yeah.
and
By
yeah,
Tencent?
there's a
It
few.
merged.
what
and
is
they do-
the
they do Dark and Darker as well.
they bought Tango, but
Yeah.
But that's I don't remember.
yeah, I don't
Tango
know the
Gameworks?
Tango
Was
Gameworks
Krafton
got
that bought
Krafton.
Krafton.
Krafton also owns PUBG,
Yeah.
so
So maybe, yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
Yes.
so this guy Kim, longtime, founder, executive, investor in the game industry out of Sweden, interviewed a bunch of studio heads and leaders in the industry about how to be successful, how to grow a studio, how to start a studio, all that kind of stuff. So,
Do you always want to grow a studio?
no, and that's part of what the book is
Nice.
about. It's like asking that question
What's
of
the
like
book
what
called?
is up, down, up.
Up, down, up.
Yeah, and you can buy it on Amazon or whatever.
nice.
And it was a great book. I mean, this is more industry insider
Yeah,
kind of
that's
stuff.
interesting.
But
Still,
We're on industry days on UNWRAP,
yeah.
kind of relevant.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good book. I read that earlier this year. I really enjoyed. So
What's your lifelong dream? Like your personal end game?
End games.
Yeah, I like the term.
There's a different connotation when it's a
Yeah,
lifelong dream
Your
and end game.
No, that's what they say. End game. What's your end game? It's a term they use in
Yeah, I
gaming.
know it's
What's
a term.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
but your
sounds
goal
different.
sounds better. Goal sounds better.
Boring.
Too serious. No, my end game is to retire and prune bonsai trees.
Right.
pretty cool.
That's my
Where?
in Canada. I don't need
Yeah.
to.
Being zen.
Yeah, very zen. Like, all this chaos, all this technology, it's like when I can just spend my days, pruning bonsai trees, then I've beaten the boss level, and I can just.
How far are you from that goal?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Still
10
have
more?
some,
Years, yeah, at least 10 more.
still have some stuff to eat here first.
Yeah.
What were we on last year? Yeah, we were trying to get you
Poutine.
No, he wanted to try
Stofvlees. Yeah, we got it for him.
No,
Yeah.
he ate so-
Yeah.
We had
we
it
got
at
it.
at the bar.
Yeah, at the after party.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
everyone went, that's not real stuff.
Yeah, it was the best we could do in short notice, but
Yeah.
we
That was
got it.
decent. You were like, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Yeah, because
surprisingly.
Like-
Surprisingly.
Yeah, it's not
The
poutine,
sass.
but
yeah, close
Yeah.
enough.
close
The
enough.
sass.
It's the local local equivalent, let's say, not a variant.
Yeah, so the bonsai tree is one thing, and then I don't drink coffee. I drink no caffeine. But when I retire, that's when I'm going to start drinking coffee,
Yeah.
and I'm going to become the biggest fucking coffee nerd.
Oh yeah,
aficionado.
But that's the problem with people
Yeah.
like us, right? So
The
like,
first year you'll go into a Starbucks, and then after you'll be like,
No.
Starbucks.
I'm not even going to Starbucks. I'm going
Oh.
past Starbucks.
Oh, you're
Yeah, but-
already going for the
Yeah.
the high.
No. That's
yeah.
I'm starting.
Like
I'm
the
starting
starting
level
the
100.
15K espresso machine.
Yeah, the V60.
Oh,
the
pour
swirling
over.
tractique,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you're going to end up
It is
starting
really
a coffee
good.
bar at this point. Like,
Oh yeah, vol au vent.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not
that's
bad.
also pretty good.
No, but we make that at home, Volova.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
All right, I didn't know
is
it was.
is it the same though?
Well, I don't know. I've never had a vol au vent here.
Yeah,
but it's with the biscuit and everything.
Yeah, the biscuit and the whatever cream and chicken and stuff. Yeah,
I didn't think that was.
Meatballs.
I had it for dinner
Chicken.
last week.
Nice.
Back in Montreal.
It's also good with
Vol au
fries.
vent.
So
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're
Because of
French,
Montreal.
right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Keep
vol au vent.
forgetting that.
You got to bust out something more
Weird
obscure
Frenchies.
than
From
the French.
here, from here. Yeah, what is obscure? Yeah,
Kapsalon.
water zooi, but fuck.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
capsalon, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like you've had probably European donors, so
yeah.
because that's also very
Stroopwafel, we don't really have that. We don't have that.
yeah.
Oh, I always
pretty great.
I always take it with me when I go to Toronto, and then I tell them like put it on your coffee first, like
Oh, warm it
on
up.
top,
Warm
so
it
it
up.
warms up a
So-
bit. In
Okay,
the
I'm
middle.
gonna have to add that for when I
To
become
your
a coffee
retirements,
nerd.
yeah.
It's
Get
part of
through
my
waffles.
retirement
They
plan.
are all addicted to it, and kruidnoot,
Oh,
spice
yeah.
nuts,
Spice nuts.
literal translation.
Yeah, it's like speculoos,
what-
like
what else?
Biscoff.
Hutsepot.
What's hutsapot? Hot pot?
It's
Somebody what the fuck is
Isn't
this?
it like a hutspot
Stew.
is mashed potatoes with everything in it that they
Yeah.
jam it in there?
Carrots.
It sounds like I'm gonna connect my
Everything,
phone
right?
to
chicken?
Oh, hotspot.
The hotspot.
Spots.
Oh damn, the punch.
Hey, what's the password for the hutsapot? Hutsapot.
Yep.
So wait, sorry, I was
No,
thinking
it's
of
fine.
my joke. I wasn't listening.
No, it's fine.
What is it? What is it? Is it
I think
I think it's potatoes, carrots, leek in a stew.
like a mashed potato kind of everything in
with
a
chicken.
potato. Is it that one or is that stampot? That's stampot.
that sounds
Yeah,
very
but that's-
traditional.
that's-
very
That's
traditional.
Dutch.
That's very Dutchy. Yeah, my mom always
Yeah.
makes them.
Like
I'll Google it,
rookworst, like the smoked
because we're no
sausage.
true Belgians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, then there's like the frituurcultuur, huh?
Yeah,
That's
but
also a thing.
The
but
fries thing, you know.
but then it's like you have the stuff
with the sausages.
Oh yeah, it just looks like
Brussels sprouts and stuff.
it's-
just like hearty stew. We're gonna go
A
work in the
hearty
fields
stew.
all day.
Yeah.
After
it's
after
a
the
very
hutzapah.
traditional.
Yeah, that sounds very.
Yeah,
very
then
heavy.
maybe
Like Aragorn would probably puke.
asparagus.
Very.
Asparagus, like the white asparagus, you can't get it anymore. The mussels,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
muscle. Yeah, but that's we do that.
yeah,
as well.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
but
So
Is
the other thing I was thinking, and this is maybe a pre-retirement thing, is to do a podcast. Ah,
You'd be really good at that.
but I know nothing about it. I know
it's
nothing.
not hard. You have a microphone. You
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah,
Just
But
can even
it's-
do it with your phone, to be honest.
Yeah,
but it's
just invite us over.
Yeah.
We'll come install it for you. Or
Yeah.
he will. We will just
Yeah.
we will
You'll-
just be there on our phones
You'll drink,
drinking.
you'll
But
drink
I-
his coffee.
Yeah.
I'll
well, that
install
means
it.
I've retired. Yeah, but like you know, I know so many people from the industry from all these early days. and
Yeah,
whatever.
it's amazing.
Like I'm just thinking having, you know, a 1 hour conversation. I don't know, imagine the guy that we were doing the assembly code of the original Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And what that like.
I
You know,
would
like,
pay him a lot of money to talk about that.
I think a lot of people would listen to
Yeah,
that.
but, you know, and then I don't know. Like I could do that, like more historical kind of stuff, like deep dive, or the more modern stuff, which is more about business and funding and.
Well,
I think everything would be interesting.
True.
But
You could do like a series on the industry part. Like you could do like a 10 episodes part and release it in one go where you're purely focused on the industry, and then have the other one as more of a running thing because you have to book guests. It's a lot more work to get that all
because
set
where
up
are they from?
all over the world.
all over the world.
But you
so-
still travel all over the world, right? I would already like
Well,
get
but
them.
but it depends if it's only kind of
digital.
sound. What do you call it? Oral or whatever. you know?
Audio.
Audio.
But still,
Audio
sitting
podcast.
across somebody
Yeah.
is always different over the
Then
virtual
Zoom
or not.
calls. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just get a mobile recording device,
Yeah, and
like
just-
an actual good one,
Yeah.
and then whatever.
buy us mini
I mean, you
ones,
don't have to release
The
everything.
Zoom
Yeah.
H. You have the H1 with only one mic, but the H2 with two, the H4 with four. You just depending on how many. Like as if you have a Zoom H2, it's portable.
But as I travel the world, just
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
Exactly. That's what
record.
I
like,
would do
so and
now.
so is in that. I'll sit down, do a thing.
That's
And
what I
it's
would
like
do
access,
now already.
access to people. That,
Yeah,
It's not that expensive, and it's just
If you have the time for it, start.
Yeah,
with
but
it.
that's the thing. I don't really have time.
well.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're yapping right now.
Yeah,
right?
well,
the thing is, we don't have time either.
Yeah.
Still, we do it
But it's a
weekly.
ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's because you get it's
So
those
the question
organic
is,
talks.
how do you make money from it?
we
We
don't.
don't.
You don't. Okay,
We make
forget it.
a lot of loss. Oh,
Yeah, we're
Yeah, if we were to be honest and pay us ourselves as a job, we would be.
So in
yeah.
general, the podcasts that make money, how do they make money?
but they're English.
there. Yeah, if you do
We're
an
Dutch.
international podcast,
Okay, but that's a scale issue.
That's a scale issue,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
With us, it's a scale issue. If you do a podcast that gets popular, you just get sponsors to insert in your episode. So this episode has been brought to you by
Red
Insert
Bull.
brand
Chipotle.
here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but that
and
seems so-
the more popular you get, the more they pay for a brand
Okay.
deal.
And then
but-
the YouTube side is a different way of getting some money out of it
Yeah.
from ads. That's
Yeah,
the
I'm
only
already
other
bored.
way.
It's like this.
Yeah, but
it's
other people do that for you, right? You just do the yapping.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, there's enough companies who can just set it all up for you, like the entire flow.
Okay.
But we have a guest in but we have Genfit person on stage right now is Stefan. You've asked him to be a guest. Okay.
Well, yeah, just
Yeah,
kick me out when you're when you're done with me. But anyway, so that's something literally yesterday lying in bed. I'm like,
Just
fuck,
buy a
I
fucking Zoom.
should do.
But just record anything. We start with, we'll just try.
Yeah.
And then you just, in the beginning, you will scrap what
Just
you
bug
don't want.
him. You have his contact. Just bug him every time. What do I need?
And he'll
And
send it
he'll
to
send it
me
to
and-
him, and then
and I'll
you'll get it
answer your
back. And
questions.
then, but yeah, don't doubt it. I think a lot of people would listen to that. It's
You have-
super
you have,
interesting.
Just
If you
audio
do it-
quality is important.
if you do it just audio and via like a call instead of physical, there are plenty of tools like online, just a website where you just log in and you
Load
just press record, and it records both your ends that you can, and it mixes it for you, and it's ready to go. Yeah.
You got
So
way easier.
we do it the hard way with the cameras and stuff.
You're on,
and in our studio,
and in
at
the
my
studio,
house,
and then I do editing,
multi-cameras.
Yeah.
That seems,
It doesn't need to be the hard
It
way if you
doesn't
just
need
want
to
to
be
do
that.
audio.
So we're like
that's what I'm thinking.
negative 10 grand or something.
But
At least.
I have to figure out if there's I mean, not that I would necessarily do it to make money, but if I do it, that means I'd take time from things that I do make money from. That,
That's
Yeah.
all.
How do you?
That's what we do, right?
That's
like
what we do.
every time we record, it's like me. Like that's half a day I can't bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's like if you go
It's a
to the
hobby.
gym or something, you're also losing money.
Yeah.
It's
a
more of a
hobby.
mental
it's
activity.
It's not just a hobby; it's a passion as well.
Yeah.
Because we're happy to get away from the kids. Secondly, it's very happy to talk about games, and it has given us a couple of opportunities,
and fun.
networking
We get to talk
wise,
to
and-
you. If we didn't do that,
exactly.
we wouldn't be here.
We get to
You
we
wouldn't
end
have,
up here.
You wouldn't have like half a speaker at half price.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
He hooked me up. My favorite speaker. This episode brought to you by PSB.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Best high quality speakers made from
Best.
in Toronto.
We'll clip this and send it to him. And, ask
They
for a
will
lot.
like that.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you're gonna be
Because they don't do marketing.
They don't need to. They're so
It's
good.
purely word of mouth.
They don't do that. So.
People would buy it. And just
I've
recommend
been
it.
a PSB customer for 25 years.
Wow.
25 years.
Damn.
Amazing speakers.
That's brand loyalty.
Yeah. That's also worth something.
Now with his hookup, I get a friends and family discount.
Oh, everybody's gonna expect that. Damn.
Yeah.
Where's my friends?
In-
Family discount?
Where's
in
my
the chat,
PSP?
use code.
Yeah.
No.
Use
No,
code JNOX.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
He only
Alright.
sells PSP to us, not PSBs.
Oh.
Hey.
All right. Is that it? I'm done.
Yeah.
I gotta go?
Unless you want to.
Genvid is still going with their.
Yeah,
their thing,
you still have time. So,
Yo,
Okay.
we're not going anywhere.
what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Ask the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
the other-
there's quite a delay.
Yeah.
So, what's been your favorite game in recent times?
Or
Except-
is there any? Are you looking forward to like, let's say, Indiana Jones now?
No, not really. I mean, fine. Indiana Jones. Fine. I was never like a hardcore Indiana Jones fan. I want to play Black Myth Wukong,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
but I'm waiting for the Xbox version.
Oh right, that's
Yeah.
still,
I want-
It's still not there?
No,
Oh,
no.
wow.
I think PlayStation had played for some degree of exclusivity, and there's some technical blah
There's-
blah. I don't know.
I thought it.
It still hasn't been proven 100%, but yeah, it could
I
be
don't
the
know.
case. Yeah.
So I'm looking for. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to play
It
just
will
to kind
happen,
just to
yeah.
kind of see what the like design sensibilities from an all Chinese
It's true.
team that's sort of really doing a large scale AAA style
Hmm.
game. Like I've just never experienced that. So I want to see.
It just announced the physical version.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
cool.
that's one I'm getting because I always said I want to buy the game, but I don't want to buy it digital.
Oh, you want the?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the kind of people who go online and complain about it, and then eventually they get to the point like Alan
Alan
Wake
Wake.
2. Oh,
We were-
fine, we'll do it.
Oh, I'll buy it again.
Nice.
So now I
That-
bought it.
I've always been a Borderlands fan, so there's the starting. You don't like Borderlands?
I like the first one a lot.
First and the second one are really good.
Oh, the third was great.
Oh, I
Wow.
didn't like that one at all.
Hey, we found the one guy.
I loved it.
I even liked
I'm
the
a fan.
pre-sequel more.
The pre-sequel was good.
Yeah.
Hmm,
And,
Did anyone play the Tina one?
Tiny Tina? I played
Yeah, I
Tiny
did
Tina. That was
play that
fun.
one.
I haven't, but
Yeah, I thought it was good.
So you're looking forward to the fourth one.
Yeah. It's one of my kind of all time franchises that I actually
What-
really.
what-
so you
could they-
really like the movie then?
Oh my god! I mean,
Have you
listen,
actually seen it?
I did.
Oh,
I
crazy.
went on opening night. I'm like that. much
Oh,
of a
wow.
well, in part because I didn't want to ruin anything about the story, so I didn't read any of the reviews. And then after I watched, I'm like, well, that was fun, but
Kinda.
like, okay,
Yeah.
that was
As a
that cool.
fan, there was
As a fan,
enough-
oh, cool to see, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go read it, it's like, oh my god, it was such a.
It was
Man,
one of the
if you
biggest
would've-
bombs.
If you would have read the reviews before going to see it, you probably
still
wouldn't have
would've-
gone to
no,
see
No,
it.
I probably would have still gone.
Yeah,
but,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's $12. Like what? Like whatever.
Is
What
that
it?
cheap?
in
I mean,
Canada?
that's like €9 or something.
How much does a film cost?
Double.
Yeah, it depends.
Like 18 euros to
12,
go-
12, 13 euros.
Depends.
It's only
And if you go to
some
the
are more
IMAX, it's
expensive.
Yeah, IMAX is always a bit more expensive.
Yeah, but that's 15, 16, so that's like 21, 22 Canadian.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Then you still don't have a drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Anyways, I mean,
$7 drink.
as a Borderlands franchise fan, there was a certain amount of
They did some research.
yeah. Well, it was fun. It was fun, but I mean, it's not going to win any Oscars,
Yeah.
but I mean, I didn't think it was as terrible.
All right.
I mean,
I'll watch it. I'll give it.
Yeah, I'm curious to
I'll
go
give
see it.
the benefit of the
Someday.
doubt.
I mean, if you have it on one of your streaming services, I mean, it's
I'll buy.
it's
the,
worth the hour and a half.
I'll buy the Blu-ray
yeah.
because then I have it.
Yeah. So I'm looking
It's
forward
probably
to
going to be like
the
minus
forward.
50%.
What do you think that they can still do with the franchise to kind of make it more interesting? Because I think the interest has dwindled, of course, over the years.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. You'd have to look at unit sales on Borderlands 3, and my
I
guess
think it's
is
sold okay,
Yeah,
but I think
I'm good.
I think a lot of it's fine. I think a lot of people bought it, but I don't think as many people finished it.
I finished it. But anyways, I mean,
I played it once. It just didn't click for me. It felt, I don't know. I think I felt like I was done with it after having done so much of the second game, doing all the DLC, doing everything, and then going to the pre-sequel, which was more of the same, still fun, but I didn't finish that one. Then with the third one, I thought, well, this is a main studio again. It's going to be great, but there was not enough new for me. And
yeah, but I guess I like the formula, so I don't need. I mean, it's nice to have, new Vault Hunters, new characters with some new skills and whatever, like that newness. Obviously, some new creatures and stuff, but like the looter shooter recipe, like
it still works.
It works for me. I like it,
and also for like Destiny, or that's completely.
I never got into Destiny.
Yeah, because there was a PlayStation exclusive in the beginning, right?
Was it?
No.
On the PS4?
They had content that was exclusive to the PlayStation version.
Oh, but the base.
I think it was like half a year or something.
I don't know.
Maybe a couple of months, maybe, but it was not the same as
That's why I got it on PS4 because the collector's edition was also.
It was even a PS3 version.
Oh right.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Because the Destiny edition, with the actual ghost in it was. I remember that was the first time the collector's edition went on eBay for €2,000, which is like $3,000 Canadian.
Oh, and those consoles, those white PS4s, they were really nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they were so limited. Yeah.
Anyway, so Borderlands, but I mean, that's going to come. They're saying next year, but it'll probably get pushed.
Yeah, because they were bought by Embracer for like $3 billion or something.
Well, 1.5 ish or something. Then
now they're sold for
less, half that.
Yeah, I think it was 400 or 500 mil.
Yeah, something like that.
After what, a year?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. There's a bonkers deal. So Black Myth Wukong. I mean, I have the Dark Horizon, which is the third and final DLC for Remnant 2.
Yeah.
So that when I get this week I'm in Belgium, next week I'm in Berlin, then I'm home a few weeks before I go down to South Africa. So in that sort of 2-3 week time frame, I'm gonna play Dark Horizon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
But I don't know.
But you still play all types of things, I feel.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I lean more towards the looter shooter types. I like RPGs. Those Baldur's Gate Origins back in the day. I like strategy games and stuff. I don't play platformers.
Clearly,
brawlers and stuff. I don't know, but I'm pretty fluid in terms of the stuff I play. But I intentionally don't subscribe to Game Pass because I want to be more intentional in my choices of the games I play. And when I pick something to play, I'll 100% it.
It's also a different mentality going into a game that you've paid for than a game that's free.
What do you mean by 100%? Like full achievements?
Yeah, full achievement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so finish the game, but then also get all the.
We have a separate channel on our Discord with all the people bragging about which game they 100%ed.
Yeah.
And most of them are platinum trophies from PlayStation. Some of them do achievements as well. But it's become this, that's an easy plat, or that's a good one to full complete. And everybody, there were loads of gamers who were completely content of just playing the game, and that's like, all right, I finished it, it's good. But since that, the discovery of that channel is like, maybe just a little bit more to get that platinum, and it's become a thing, and I love it because I was already a completionist before that, but now I see many people join in that weren't completionists before.
Way too time consuming. I just want to play more games.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is a different mentality, and it's funny because I've not played Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh no,
because I'm scared of it.
Because it's over 100 hours.
Yeah, the time.
Same. Time it's standing there.
But we need another global pandemic to lock us at home, and then that's when I played Cyberpunk.
Oh,
and I 100% at Cyberpunk, and that's a fairly big game, especially to get all the achievements. But that was like prime COVID lockdown times.
Have you done Phantom Liberty yet?
No, I haven't.
Apparently, it's really good.
Apparently it's really good, and so I might do that over the holidays. But anyways, it's just a different mindset. What I like about the achievements is it sort of forces you to play different ways, to do different things, to explore areas that maybe you
discover things about a game that you wouldn't have discovered.
Exactly.
Do you read the achievements before you play?
What I'll usually do is I'll start playing. Some achievements pop and stuff like that. But what I will do is I'll sometimes go check the guide to make sure there's like no missables.
Yeah.
Because that I don't like doing. If it's like, if you didn't do this thing in the first 10 minutes, when you finish the game,
in chapter 8 of 10, if you didn't,
so that's
the worst.
I mean, as much as I like to 100, like that's like like that.
That's why I stopped.
The worst feeling is if you play a game, you finish the entire thing, and you're like, I only got one achievement.
Yeah.
Oh God, what did I miss? What did I do?
or you have one achievement short.
Yeah.
Oh no. I've had it with games like, I think Outer Wilds. When I finished it, I think you only get like 2 or 3 from the story.
Oh wow.
And then I look at the guide. What did I miss? What are they asking for at this point?
Meanwhile, you have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Battle R, whatever.
Battle R, one of the one-on-ones fighting games where just everything you do is a trophy. Like you hit someone, bing, your trophy. You hit someone, you kick. You use the other button to kick.
You look at the controller.
You kick someone, trophy.
You exist.
Booted the game.
I had it with one game recently where it was literally I just pushed the disc in. Waited a couple seconds and there was a trophy. Okay, I guess. So
thanks.
That's
because they need at least X amount of trophies, right? In the game,
they need, I think, 50 or something, 40 or 50.
No.
If it's like a big title, they have they have an allocation of what they can use.
I think
so. In the past, it used to be like Xbox Arcade. They had like 12 for Xbox Arcade, only 200 points,
250.
and then. Yeah, 250, and then 1,000 for a big game, for like a $60 game, let's say. And then they were allowed to go up to, I think, 40 achievements, something like that.
Canadian is $80, right?
Or $80 for
90 for the high ones.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
tax exclusive.
But I think
tax on
it's
top,
another 13%.
What was it for Vampire Survivors? If you buy
127 trophies.
No, it's 240 or something.
With all the DLC.
If with all the DLC. So when it launched on PlayStation, it had 240
DLC
achievements with DLC list. It's incredible.
But that's crazy.
And it was a lot of fun to do then, because every 5 seconds you have another one. You have another one. Yeah.
I think if and when I play Baldur's Gate 3, I'll have to resist being a completionist and resist even worrying about the.
That's like a few 100 hours probably.
I guess for the console, I think on PC there's more.
I'll check the how long
because they usually have longer lists on Steam. Steam they don't have and Steam they don't have the same restrictions as PlayStation and Xbox. So I think there's way more achievements on PC. So just don't do the PC version.
So it's like whether or not I believe I can resist looking at the achievement guide and this kind of stuff and like just. I can just play it and finish it. What is it? What does it say? Oh my! Baldur's Gate 3 main story 68 hours, main plus extra 112, completionist 164.
Oh God!
It's actually not as bad as I would have thought.
Yeah, but that's following a guide, right? That's not figuring it out yourself.
That's people sending in their.
Yeah.
That's the average.
Yeah, but that's like.
I mean, some of them would have done
fully manual.
Yeah. Some of them would have followed a guide, some of them won't, and it's just the average.
Yeah, it definitely goes faster if you're following the guide and sort of not missing things and not having to redo and replay.
You still have to look for the next
guest.
Oh yeah, okay.
Cool.
All right.
Very
Jason.
good, guys. Always a pleasure.
Appreciato.
Hopefully, I'll be back next year.
Hey,
We'll see what they do to redesign the bus.
I don't think they will again because
No.
I think this costed quite a bunch. So maybe we see you at the after party.
Yeah.